Lansing's only sports station. The Game, 7:30.
Let's play.
The winter sports season continues as we're now into 2024. I'm John Ross, and this is This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the winter sports season. Believe it or not, our first basketball district games are just 7.5 weeks away. Let's take you through the rest of the hoop schedule so you know what to expect. And remember, this year the boys' finals will be played first, followed by the girls' finals. Boys districts will tip off February 26th, with district finals on March 1st. District assignments are already set, and the draw will be posted on February 18th. The regional round will be played March 5th and 7th, with the quarterfinals on Tuesday, March 12th. The Breslin Center in East Lansing will once again play host to the semifinal and final rounds. The semis are March 14th and 15th, with the finals on Saturday, March 16th. All quarterfinal and semifinal action will be streamed live on the NFHS network, and all four finals will air live on Valley Sports Detroit. Munising, Flint Beecher, Ferndale, and Cass Tech will all be looking to repeat as champions. On the girls' side, everything is 1 week later. So that means district play starts March 4th, regional play starts March 11th. The quarters are March 19th, and the semifinals and finals are March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, also at the Breslin Center. Glen Lake, Hemlock, Lansing Catholic, and Rockford are your defending champs. In addition to the NFHS Network and Valley Sports Detroit, all semifinal and final games for both the boys and girls will also be available on the MHSAA Championship Radio Network. For scores, schedules, pairings, and more, be sure to check out MHSAA.com. It's time for Game Balls, when we highlight a trio of standout performances from over the break. First, Ludington's David Schillinger. He poured in 34 points in a 12-point win over Montague. In doing so, Schillinger becomes Ludington's all-time leading scorer, surpassing Mike Larson. Ortonville Brandon's Riley Abner also broke a school scoring mark. She went into the break with 1,176 points, more than any other hooper, boy or girl, has ever scored for the Blackhawks. And despite dropping a game to Buckley, Benzie Central's Jackson Childers won over 1,000 career points.
For high school seniors, the matchup of the year isn't on the field. It's actually online. That's right. When you fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in additional money from the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. Yep, nearly 80% of students who fill out the FAFSA may be eligible. Now that's a matchup we can all root for. Get started today at michigan.gov/achievement. The Michigan Achievement Scholarship. It's a game changer.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Director of Officiating Services, Sam Davis.
A rule change in high school basketball means there will no longer be 1-and-1 free throws, and team fouls now reset after each quarter, not at the half. Here's how it works. A team will reach the bonus in each quarter once their opponent has committed 5 fouls. That means teams will shoot 2 free throws for all common fouls after the 4th team foul in a quarter. Previously, teams weren't in the bonus until the 7th team foul, and then shot 1-and-1 free throws until the 10th team foul of a half or double bonus was reached. A foul on a 3-point attempt will result in 3 free throws for the shooter and still counts as a team foul.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you're interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. 7 other winter sports will see their postseason start in February. The ski finals for both boys and girls are February 26th. Team wrestling finals will be February 23rd and 24th in Kalamazoo, with the individual finals March 1st and 2nd at Ford Field. Bowling regionals are February 23rd and 24th, with the finals on March 1st and 2nd, and that's the same weekend as the competitive cheer finals, which will be back at McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant. The gymnastic finals are March 8th and 9th. The ice hockey finals and Lower Peninsula boys swimming and diving finals are also that weekend. The UP swim and dive finals are on February 17th. Information for all of these tournaments and how to get tickets and more can be found at MHSAA.com. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll be back next week.
The Game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
And a good Saturday morning to everyone out there listening here in mid-Michigan on The Game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN and the Lansing Sports Network. This is High School Rewind, the weekly show that recaps the week that was in boys and girls basketball. It's brought to you by the Lansing Sports Commission. No matter the sport, the Lansing Sports Commission can make your next event your best event. Plan on something greater, rather. Find out more at lansingsports.org. And by Jeff and Chris Metz and Dowding Industries. Always interested in individuals that have the drive and desire to be successful in work and in life. Check them out at dowdingindustries.com. Bit of a lighter week this week. Still a lot of teams, a lot of schools still not playing or playing very little because of the last week of the winter break, the holiday break, rather. So not as many games to report on this week as there have been in December, but still some good action this week. The game we were at last night, myself and Eric Doc Love, Charlotte at Sexton. Game for the CAAC White lead, and it was Sexton that won it, 53-40, behind sophomore, no, not Keyshawn Somerville, who you've heard us talk about all season long. It was sophomore Marquise Murray, 14 points, 5 rebounds, had a 13-0 run in the first half that gave them the lead for good, and Sexton just simply the better team. Their press gave Charlotte all kinds of problems all night long. And the matchup zone in the half courts that really caused Charlotte problems as well. And Sexton, a deserved win there last night. Some of the other action last night, East Lansing stayed undefeated. The two undefeated teams in the area, East Lansing and Langsburg, they stayed undefeated. East Lansing took care of Grand Blanc at home, 53-38. That's got to be East Lansing's closest game because they've wiped everybody else out so far. A lot of people think they're the best team in the state in all classes. Still to be determined, but hey, man, they are a terrific team. Their big three of Cam Hudson, KJ Torbert, and JL Branson, they all combined for 43 of the 53 points. They are 8-0 on the season, and looking forward to seeing them next week when they host Waverly. The other undefeated team is Langsburg out of the CMAC. Xander Woodruff, 38 points. He's had a few 30-plus games this season for the Wolfpack. 38 points in their big win over Plymouth Christian Academy. That was 91-74. They are 7-0 on the season. It's sure looking like the CMAC is coming down to a two-team race, Langsburg and PW, and they will play once again at Langsburg a little bit later on in the season. Some of the other action last night in boys basketball, Mason takes control of the CAAC Red. They beat St. John's at home, a St. John's team that had been playing very, very well recently after a slow start. They won the Reed City tournament over the holiday break, but Mason took care of them 61-45 behind the team's quarterback, literally, Kason Carswell. He had 25 points to lead Mason in the victory. Caleb Parrish, 17 points, 10 rebounds as well. And so Mason, undefeated in league play. They are 7-2 overall. Again, this is boys action from last night. We'll get to girls basketball here in just a moment. We talked about Portland's girls team and how terrific that they are. Well, Portland's boys team under Coach Luke Pohl is off to a terrific start as well. They are 6-1 overall, 2-1 in league play after beating Lakewood at home last night, 55-35. Evan Gross had 15 points to lead Portland to the victory. Caden Dickerson added 12 points. Also in CAAC White play, Olivet beat Ionia easily, 61-29. Bo Lincoln, their terrific senior for the Eagles, 20 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Bryce Wine adding 15 points. Don't count out Olivet in the CAAC White race. There's Sexton's the only team that's undefeated, but there's a slew of teams that have just one loss on the season. Also in the CAAC White, Eaton Rapids beat Lansing Catholic 58-56. Eaton Rapids gets to 2-1 on the season. Yeah, a lot of teams 2-1 in the CAAC White. We get close to the halfway point of the season. Stockbridge is now 6-3 on the season. They took out Leslie 52 to 42. Also, Ovid Elsie over Durand, 53 to 46. And Morris beat Burton Atherton last night, 53 to 40. So that was some of the action that occurred back last night. Some of the other action earlier this week. Olivet over Union City. This, I believe, was on Wednesday. Yes, it was. Olivet over Union City, 75 to 53. Bryce Wine, 20 points. Bo Lincoln had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Perry over Otisville Lakeville, 65-31. DJ Jenks, 25 points for the Perry Ramblers. Bath fell to Hastings, 49 to 43. And Williamston lost to Chelsea, 64 to 57. So, taking a look at the boys' standings here, we'll start with the CAAC White because they played conference games last night. Sexton, 3-0 in league play. They are 4-4 overall. And we're going to talk with DeLeon Daring, the first-year head coach of Sexton High School, coming up on the other side of this first break. They are 3-0 in league play. 4-4 overall. Charlotte, 2-1 in league play. They're 6-2 overall. Portland, 2-1 in league play. They're 6-1 overall. And let's see, Olivet 2-1 in league play. They're 6-3 overall. Eaton Rapids 2-1 in league play. They're 5-3 overall. So it's packed at the top of the CAAC White this season. In the CAAC Red, mentioned it, Mason 3-0 in league play. They're 7-2 overall. Eastern and Williamston both 2-1 in the league. Eastern at 4-4 overall. Williamston at 4-6. St. John's at 1-2 in league play. They're 5-6 overall. There were no league games in the CAAC Blue this week. However, Okemos stays at 8-1. They're 2-0 in league play. East Lansing has only played one league game. They beat Everett right before the holiday break. Played a lot of non-conference games. They're going to play very conference-heavy schedule coming up in January and February. They are 8-0 overall, and looking forward to going out to East Lansing on Thursday night when they host Waverly. Again, Waverly 1-0 in league play. They're 6-2 overall. DeWitt 1-1 in league play. They're 8-1 overall. And Grand Ledge 1-1 in league play. They're 5-3 overall. In the CMAC, Langsburg undefeated 7-0 overall. They're 5-0 in the league. PW 4-1 in the league, 7-1 overall. And Langsburg gave PW their only loss of the season, winning in overtime at PW back in December. Perry, Dansville, Fowler, all 3-2 in league play. Perry 6-2, Dansville 4-4, Fowler is 4-5. Stockbridge 6-3 overall. Ovid Elsie is 5-3 overall. And taking a look at some of the action today, there's a number of games. Waverly plays at Grand Rapids, Ottawa Hills. Hazlitt hosts Wyoming. Lansing Catholic hosts Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian. St. John's hosts Corunna. Stockbridge plays Butler Eastside High School out of Indiana. You are allowed to play schools out of state as long as it's a neighboring state. And Williamston plays Wyoming Godwin Heights. That's the action for the boys this week. And let's take a look now at the girls' action. We'll stay in the CAAC White because they did play league games yesterday. And Portland continues to lead. They continue to lead that league with another big win, 46-17 over Lakewood, this at home. And they had a lot of players score. Lily Thalen, 8 points. Paige Spadowski, 7 points. Malia Thalen and Stummer Stopsinski, hope I'm pronouncing your name right, they all had 6 points. So a lot of players scored for Coach Jason Hade. They are undefeated right now at 7-0, 3-0 in the league. But they got to play Lansing Catholic coming up on Tuesday night, and that should be one whale of a game. Lansing Catholic, by the way, crushed Eaton Rapids 65-15. Gabby Hallowell's been Catholic's probably their best player so far this season. She had 15 points and 4 assists in their win. And, Anna Richards, Tessa Rowe each had 11 points. Leah Richards, Morgan Wilcox each had 9 points for the Lady Cougars. Also in the CAAC White, Olivet got by Ionia 36-33. Olivia Gessner had 15 points, 3 assists to lead Olivet in the win. And the game that we saw just before going on the air, it was Charlotte over Sexton, 49-29. Jalen Baker had 17 points. That was Charlotte's first win of the season. And Sexton drops to 1-4. They are 0-2 in league play. Also, there were a couple of other league games in the CAAC Red. It was Well, first in the CMAC, it was Fowler winning. They were able to win last night and they get into the winners column. They crushed Lansing Christian 66-24 to stay undefeated in the CMAC. We are down to, we have one less undefeated team as Dansville lost earlier this week. So the undefeated teams we got, Ovid Elsie, they're 7-0 on the season. Bath is 5-0 on the season. And Portland, they are 7-0 on the season. Bath will get back in action coming up next week. Fowlerville over Pinckney, 42-34. Morris crushed Burton Atherton, yes, 54-3. They only allowed 3 points on the night. Aubrey Rogers, 32 points, 12 steals in the big win there. Leslie over Stockbridge, 46-33. Reese DeRose had 15 points for Leslie. Mentioned Portland already. Ovid Elsie, that was the score I was missing. They crushed Durand 57-19. Ava Bates led the Marauders with 16 points in the Mid-Michigan Athletic Conference. Their big win over Durand. Again, they are undefeated on the season. So, yeah, the undefeated teams on the girls' side are Portland, Bath, and Ovid Elsie, because Dansville lost earlier this week. And so taking a look at the girls' basketball standings in the CAAC White, Portland 3-0 in league play, Lansing Catholic 2-0 in league play, and they play each other next Tuesday night at Lansing Catholic. I'll be there to watch that one. Lakewood at 2-1. Olivet is 2-1 in league play. In the CAAC Red, Williamston is 3-0. Mason is at 2-1, as is Hazlitt. Looks like it's going to be those three teams right there. In the CAAC Blue, DeWitt and Holt 2-0 in league play. East Lansing 1-0 in league play. Okemos is at 1-1. In the CMAC, Bath and Dansville both 3-0 in league play, even though Dansville lost out of conference. Fowler is 4-0 in league play. Portland, St. Pat's, and Langsburg both 2-1 in the league. So that was the action over this week for the most part. As I mentioned before, Dansville did take their first loss of the season this week. They lost at Grand Rapids Covenant Christian. Just 2 games on the girls' side today. Grand Ledge is hosting Brighton today, and Olivet hosts Paw Paw. Coming up on the other side of this break, we got DeLeon Deering, the first-year head coach for the Sexton Big Reds. They got a big win last night over Charlotte. Game we did, you heard it here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. They beat Charlotte 53-40. We'll talk to him about that and about his team in general and the CAAC White and the area in general as well. It's High School Rewind on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, brought to you by the Lansing Sports Commission and by Dowding Industries.
Welcome to Be the Referee with MHSAA registered official Paige Winnie.
Did you know many sports now offer student athletes the opportunity to compete on both varsity and sub-varsity teams during the same week or even the same day? The fifth quarter or third half rule was instituted to help sub-varsity teams with low participation numbers. Now, a student athlete on the varsity team can participate in part of the JV game, so each level of the team can play with a safer number of players. For example, a football player who plays in 3/4 of the JV game may also play in 2/4 of the varsity game for a total of 5 quarters played. The rule is not designed for high-caliber players to play down a level and dominate games or pad stats. The fifth quarter is available in basketball, football, and boys lacrosse. Soccer has the third half rule.
Thanks, Paige. You can be a referee. Go online now to register at MHSAA.com. Be the Referee is a part of the MHSAA network.
WVFN.
Welcome back to High School Rewind on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, brought to you by the Lansing Sports Commission and by Dowding Industries. Happy to be joined now by the first-year head coach for the Sexton Big Reds. They are leading the CAAC White with a 3-0 league record. They are 4-4 overall. He's Coach DeLeon Deering in his first year, and he's on right now on High School Rewind. Coach, congratulations for coming on, and welcome to High School Rewind for the first time.
Thank you, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Good crowd last night at Sexton High School, and your team gave a pretty good performance. I was impressed with your squad. As much as I've heard from Brian Calloway of the Lansing State Journal and other people about your outstanding sophomore Keyshawn Somerville, it was the other guys that really impressed me last night. Other guys stepped forward. It seemed like Charlotte was kind of keying on Keyshawn a little bit, so other guys had to step forward, and boy, did they ever. Marquise Murray, outstanding for you, and defensively, I thought your defense really set the tone.
Yeah, yes, sir. And that's the key thing we're working on this year is trying to get everybody involved. One thing about Keyshawn, he has great leadership. He motivates his players to be better, do better, and we can't depend on him all the time. So, and that's one thing he does as a sophomore already is motivating other players to be their best, do everything they can do, and that's big for this team, and that's good to see that at such a young age.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Keyshawn Somerville, just a sophomore, but fellow sophomore Marquise Murray was really, really good. 10 of his 14 points were in the first half. He had a couple of big three-pointers and keying a big 13-0 run in the first half. I knew you went on a run in the first half. I didn't know it was 13-0, and that set the tone. It gave you the lead ultimately for good against a good Charlotte team.
Yeah, a very good disciplined Charlotte team, and Marquise Murray, like I told him, he's very aggressive. He's a good player. He plays with high intensity, great defense. That's what we need out of him. So now, we could be a nice combo guard team, and we still got Devon Hodges as a senior. And if everybody do what they're supposed to do, play their role, play defense together, we can have great nights and come out with a good win because, Charlotte's a good team. But, games like that, it comes down to what team is going to execute the best, what team is going to play the best as a team. Everybody's going to rebound. Everybody's going to push the ball. So a lot of them little things is what's very important for us to win and have success.
Yeah, you did the little things. You rebounded pretty good. You told me the key. One of the things was control rebounds. Well, Charlotte did out-rebound you 37-29. Ben Buzzard had 13 of them for Charlotte, but you held him to 4 points. And I thought your defense, your full-court press, you did some trapping, too, and it looked like a matchup zone, and you did some trapping out of that, and it really messed up Charlotte. Cutler Brandt, their leading scorer, he did end up with 15 points, but he had only 3 field goals on the night, and it just seemed like you made him work for it. He kind of struggled a little bit. Yes, he did get some points, but you made him work for it a lot.
Yep, and that was our job to make sure we on him and make sure we make it hard for him. Which he's a very great player with a beautiful shot, and that was key. And like I tell the kids, you got to be very detailed. A kid like that coming in, he can shoot the ball. You got to keep an eye on him. Not taking nothing from the other players, but especially number 3 for Charlotte. You have to keep an eye on him and play great defense. That's very big.
Yeah, it was a very good defensive job on him, and also Ben Buzzard, their second leading scorer. He did get 13 rebounds last night, but he had only 4 points and nothing in the first half. I thought your interior defense was really good as well.
Yep, the interior defense was good. There's a lot of things I still was looking at that we need to fix and get on top of as far as communication and little stuff. And like I said, it's the basic stuff that's gonna get them guys far, man, and so we can be successful. You have been successful so far in the league, 3-0 in the league, leading the CAAC White, which speaking with DeLeon Deering, the first-year head coach for the J-Dubs of Sexton. Let's talk about some other guys. Hurley Young had to come into the game after a couple of guys. I think it was Marquise or one of the other players got a couple of early fouls. He came in and did a really good job for you in the first half. 6 points, 3 rebounds. He ended up with 8 points, 5 rebounds. I also thought, even though guys like DeLeon Chandler and DeQuarius Jones didn't score a heck of a lot, Chandler had 6, DeQuarius Jones had 2. They had some really good passes as well, and they contributed. You talked about all the guys contributing. Joe Pizzo, the quarterback on the football team, 8 points, 5 rebounds. You had Marquise Murray with 14, but you had other guys, 8 points, 8 points, 8 points, 7 points, 6 points. Yeah, it was a team effort, and that's got to be so encouraging. Yep, it's very encouraging, and that's what it's all about. And like I tell the boys, okay, if you have 16 rebounds and 8 assists and 0 points, you did a tremendously great job of helping the team win. See, a lot of kids is caught up in thinking it's about points. You can have 3 critical charges that you take for the team that get a star player in foul trouble and get him out the game. That's helping the team out. So I'm trying to get the boys to understand it's not always about points that's going to help you help the team. It's not about that all the time. So that's why I'm trying to install with them. And they're doing a great job.
They're figuring it out?
They're figuring it out. They're starting to click. So they're doing a great job. And coaches, and thanks to my coaches, my assistant coaches, everybody is doing a great job in making sure these kids understand what they need to know.
Speaking with DeLeon Deering, the first-year head coach for Sexton High School, the J-Dubs leading the CAAC White with a 3-0 league record, 4-4 overall. Even though you got undefeated in league play, 4-4 overall. You've played a tough schedule. I know Holt beat you at the buzzer. We're pretty close to it. You've played some other tough games too. What's been the difference with the good record here in the conference? But with all your losses outside of the league, what's been the difference from out of league as far as inside the league?
Out the league, them teams are more. Them teams are a little more seasoned as far as team play and understanding their strategies. And, like we went into overtime where they beat us by 3. Holt beat us by 3.
Yeah.
Oakness, they poured away on us and, got a nice win on them. The brothers are good on that team. Kalamazoo, they a nice season team. I believe they beat us by 8 or 9. I'm not sure on that, but
you've been close most of the games. Yeah, Okemos, the Walton twins are really, really good. They're big players. They're really, really good. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. Great disciplined players, and that's why we wanted to schedule like that, because I know if I could start the season off with these young kids and get them to compete with them type of teams, that's going to give them confidence and motivation to see where we at, see what we can do in them high level teams, and that's what it's all about. Like I said, my job is getting them prepared for the long run. That's what I'm trying to do. Make sure they're disciplined, they play as a team, so we can go on a good run and do what we have to do.
Coach Deering, I want to talk about one of your assistants. He's a previous coach before you, and that I'm talking about Dale Beard, who's a wonderful person. Taking over for him, he's kind of like a mentor. I guess they wanted to switch roles, I guess, and you're the head coach, and he's now the assistant. How important has Coach Beard been in the development of these guys, and maybe helping you become a better coach?
He's doing great. He's at the point of his career where. He got other, light things going on. That's great that, ventures that he wanted to do and things he wanted to do. But for his love for the game, he's still around, and I appreciate it because I don't know everything. Nobody know everything. And then, him being around, putting his 1-2s on things. And, we talk about things. We work with game plan. We watch film a lot. That's very important. So he's doing a great job at being there for the team and giving back game and just helping the team out there. He's doing a wonderful job, and I appreciate him.
Coach, the CAAC White is bigger now with the addition of Olivet and Lakewood. First of all, before we talk about the league's teams, because it looks pretty competitive again, your thoughts on the expansion with the dissolution of the GLAC and Olivet and Lakewood joining the league?
I think that's good. Give kids more experience to play against different teams and schemes, and that's what it's all about, and that's what it's all about. And especially, like I say, the team that execute the most, listen to their coach and do the best thing as a team. That team is always going to pull it through. So I think it's a great experience for all the kids. Period. This experience playing against different teams. And that's why I kind of did the schedule like I did, too. Play some teams at the beginning that we won't run across. And then, we get to play against different teams with different schemes that'll help us out. So that's what it's all about, and I love it.
Your thoughts on the rule change with the fouls per quarter now? Instead of 7 fouls and you get a 1-and-1 in a half, and then 10 fouls, it's 2 free throws. Now it's exactly the same as women's college basketball: 5 fouls in the quarter, and then you're in the bonus, and it's 2 free throws after that. Very similar to the NBA rule, which they've used for decades. Your early thoughts on that?
I tell the kids, when we have practice, we do work on free throws, and when you're not with me, get you some free throws up because they're coming early.
In some cases, yes.
Yes, in some cases, yes.
Yeah, I want to mention the free throw shooting. You were 8 for 10 last night, and you were 8 for 8 until Marquise Murray missed the last 2 free throws in the last minute of the game. Charlotte was 8 for 15. That obviously hurt them as well. Free throws. How many times have I done games, me and Eric have done games, where free throws have been a factor, where teams have gone 10 for 21, 8 for 8 for 19, something like that, and it ends up why they lose a close game. It's just, I mean, free throws are free, or foul shots. They're free. Nobody's guarding you. You get two, sometimes 1, 2, sometimes 3 free throws. They're very, very important, and I think it's amazing that we don't see as good a free throw shooting as we do in the high school ranks.
Yep, I think kids, and it's ways that you work on free throws. For me, we're going to condition, and then when we're tired, when I know you're tired and you don't even want to lift your head up, you got your hands, let's get some free throws in. So that it's ways to work on free throws because, realistically, when the game is, it's intense. When you get to that free throw line in the fourth quarter, you're tired. So hit the free throws. But I think kids, a lot of kids in this generation, we have a lot of talent coming up. But I think kids need to get back to the basic things, the little things, and that will help them out. And free throws is a major part of that, too. Free throws.
Smart.
When I was in high school, kids didn't miss free throws. They was hitting their free throws all the time. And he's like, well, this guy didn't even come down and do nothing spectacular. He had 20 points. Guess what? He had 16 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
He did have 20 points.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that many times. Guys struggle from the field, but they get the ball to the basket and they get fouled and they get their points that way. Man, I've known coaches that, I mean, if you miss a certain amount of free throws in practice, you're running. You are running.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't happen that much anymore, but I've known coaches that do that. Like you said, it's smart to do it at the end of practice when they're tired. That's when you practice free throws, not at the start of practice.
Yes, correctly. Yep.
So,
yes.
So Coach DeLeon Deering joining us here on High School Rewind. Got a couple of more minutes for you. I'll talk to you about your thoughts on the expansion of the CAAC White, the new foul rule that went into effect this year. This is the second or third year of going from 20 to 22 regular season games. Just about every coach I've talked to, both boys and girls, are for it. I would be okay personally going to 24 games, but not much more than that. What are your thoughts on the expansion of the regular season?
I think it's great because you give the kids it's all about the experience. I mean, the key thing is now with more games, kids, you gotta. I stress it to my kids: treat yourself like you're in college. Treat yourself like you're in the NBA. Eat correctly, get your rest in, work on your body. Don't just play correctly because. I think that's the key thing, and a lot of coaches may be concerned about that. High school kids go do something on the weekend and come back, oh, my wrist is messed up, but treat yourself like a professional, and that's something I'm big on. Eat, sleep, drink your fluids, do what you got to do, treat yourself like a professional, and I think that'll help the season as it expands too. But I like it, though, because it gives kids more reps.
Yeah, and right. Kids would rather play games rather than practice. That's just the way kids are.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you were there once too, Coach.
Oh yeah, yes sir. I was, and that's why I'm trying to the little things, some of the things I didn't like to do, and some of my experiences. I'm trying to give back to them and let them know. You focus on this. This is what's important. Because I already tell the kids, you can't. You can't teach Coach Beard how to be his age. You can't teach me how to be 34. You're 16, 17. Just listen. I don't know everything, but just listen. I can help you out with a lot of things. So.
All right, Coach DeLeon Deering. A couple of games next week. You've got Lakewood on the road on Tuesday, and then on Thursday. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. You're on Friday. You're hosting a good Ionia team. Big week for you coming up. Especially Ionia, who's been very good in recent years. You get them at home next Friday.
Yep. Yeah, we got them at home next Friday, and that's going to be another team where whatever team play the best as a team, they're going to have good outcome with that game. So that's what I'm big on to the boys understand. Even last night, Keyshawn wasn't our leading scorer and a lot of stuff, but he still did other things. He played great defense. He was a team leader. When things got kind of shaky, he was positive in the huddle. That's what we need to win. So that's what I'm looking forward to us. Collectively playing good together and giving everything we got.
You gave everything you had last night, and you got a big win over Charlotte. Nice to see a good crowd back at Sexton High School. I know Charlotte brought some people last night, some parents and some fans, which is always good to see. It makes for it. I just when that place, when Clayton Kowalk Gymnasium is full, it is a happening place, so to speak. And saw a bit of that last night too. You know, the J-Dubs alums are very proud, just like the Eastern alums, just like the Everett alums. They're very, very proud alums. And nice to see Sexton come back a bit. Not quite there yet, but
not quite. We've got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But we're trying. Coach Valentine was my coach. Just as you know, like Coach Valentine, Dan Bogan was my football coach.
Oh yeah,
Coach Valentine was my basketball coach. I want to make sure I bring some of the things that they brought to the table to make the program successful. And that's hard work, dedication, believing in yourself, and then just being consistent as a coach and being consistent, make sure the kids believe in themselves and being consistent as players. And that's big right there. We're not even close to being there, but I'm starting to see a change to where, okay, you know what, everybody's on the same page, and we're about to get there. So
yeah,
that's what I see.
That kind of mirrors what your athletic director Anthony Brandon and we talked about after the game. I said, you guys are pretty good. How good? He pointed back, and we said it like in stereo. Wait and see.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love Anthony. He's our athletic director, but he's always in the school. I work in the school too, and man, the way he engaged with the kids, the way he makes sure they're confident in schoolwork and everything. That's what it takes. When I was there, that's what we had. So it's getting back to that tradition where you got a lot of big red family working in the school.
Yep.
Doing with the kids, and like I tell my kids, I don't want our relationship just based on basketball, and that's another thing. Because sometimes they don't need to hear me talk to them about basketball. So it's coming along pretty good. Coach DeLeon Deering in his first season for the J-Dubs of Sexton. Coach, thanks so much for coming on. Congratulations on the success so far. We'll keep watching. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. DeLeon Deering, first-year head coach for the J-Dubs of Sexton, 3-0 in the CAAC White. Brian Calloway, prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. He's coming up after this. This is High School Rewind on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN and the Lansing Sports Network.
Lansing Sports Leader, the game, 7:30 a.m.
Welcome back to High School Rewind on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, brought to you by Dowding Industries and by the Lansing Sports Commission. Brock Palmish here with you until 11 o'clock. Happy to be joined now by the prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. He's Brian Calloway. Brian, we were at the Sexton-Charlotte game last night at Sexton High School. You've been telling me how good Keyshawn Somerville is, and, well, he struggled a bit last night. He only had 8 points, but, boy, his teammates really stepped forward and played really, really well, especially Marquise Murray. He was in double figures last night, and he really led the way on a 13-0 run in the first half that gave him the lead, as it turned out, for good.
Yeah, Marquise Murray really did step up, and obviously, I feel like it was a really balanced team attack for Sexton last night. And usually, Keyshawn Somerville is a guy that goes off, but they just got contributions from a number of different people, throughout that game. And like you said, that 13-0 run that Marquise Murray, keyed in the first quarter, that was pretty key. And several other players stepped up and helped them maintain that lead and hit some big shots. Whether it was Hurley Young throwing down a couple of dunks last night, Joseph Pizzo had a couple of big moments in the game as well too. But they just found a way, and now you look at the standings, and they're the last team unbeaten in CAAC White play right now as well too. So they find themselves in a pretty good spot as far as league title is concerned. Yeah, they got a good chance, but there's teams right behind them: Charlotte 2-1, Portland 2-1. Olivet's 2-1, Eaton Rapids is 2-1, and don't count Ionia out yet either. They're 1-2, but they've got a 5-3 overall record. I know they lost last night. Taking a look at the other action, I mean, East Lansing, just about everybody has them as the best team in the area, and they might be the best team in the entire state. I think they played their closest game of the season last night. They won by 15 at home over Grand Blanc. Talk about balanced scoring efforts. Cam Hudson, 15 points, 8 rebounds. J.L. Branson, 14 points, 5 rebounds. K.J. Torbert, 14 rebounds. I'd say that's pretty balanced, don't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely pretty balanced. And that was
They actually had a game in single digits. I think the game against River Rouge that they played was actually technically a single-digit game. But outside of that game, I mean, they've blown everybody else out. I mean, including Saline, which is a team that is a top 10 Michigan power rating in the state as well, too. I mean, they blew them out as well, too. But, yeah, I mean, East Lansing is, kind of one of those teams right now that has the look and is, kind of considered, to be arguably the best team in Division I with the way that they've played right now. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan has them number one in their Division I rankings, and they've been there the last 2 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, their big three, as Ray Mitchell calls it, of J.L. Branson and K.J. Torbert and Cam Huntsett. I mean, those guys have delivered and come up big for them, and they're not the only talented guys on that team as well, too. When you look at pieces like, Christian Dunn and Charlie Baker and B.J. Wyndham, and there's so many of the other guys that can make some plays for them as well, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to be playing a very conference-heavy schedule coming up for the rest of the season. They've only played one conference game so far with an 8-0 record, so it's going to be very conference-heavy until they get to the state tournament, which is hard to believe, at the end of next month. Yes, because the boys play a week early. They start their state tournament on February 26th. That is just crazy. And by the way, we're going to be at East Lansing High School for Waverly at East Lansing coming up next Thursday. CAAC Red, looks like Mason's in control as expected. They've got everybody back. And disappointed that they didn't win their own tournament. They lost it to a good Howell team, but they've rebounded with a big win over St. John's. Case and Carswell had a big game last night, and they're in control, I would think. Even though they've only got a one-game lead over Eastern and Williamston, I'd say Mason's, they're pretty much in control right now of that division.
Yeah, they are in control, and if you look, and they pretty much have beat all their league opponents by double figures, so far. They just right now have the look to be the best team, and outside of the two losses that they have, I mean, one of them came at that Howell tournament, the game that you were at when they played Howell, and they were minus Caleb Parrish, and then they lost the other game to a very talented and good Adrian team in overtime as well too. But with the way that they've played so far, they look like the clear favorite in the CAAC Red.
In the CMAC, it looks top-heavy as well. Langsburg and PW, they've already played once this season, and Langsburg won it in overtime. They have now won 35 of their last 37 games, dating back 2 seasons ago. They crushed Plymouth Christian Academy on the road last night, 91-74. Xander Woodruff, another great season, 38 big points for the Wolfpack. Man, I mean, they have a new coach. The results just keep coming. They just keep winning and winning and winning, as Ric Flair used to say.
Yeah, no, they do, and they lost some key contributors from that team last year that went 25-1. Xander Woodruff's older brother Eli, and some of those other seniors as well too. But they still haven't been able to miss a beat, and Xander Woodruff obviously has put together a very, very strong senior season to date with some of the performances that he's delivered to put them in a good spot and being one of 2 unbeaten boys basketball teams in the area.
Yeah, they're the only unbeaten teams there. Other teams like PW are 7-1. Perry is 6-2. Stockbridge 6-3. Ovid LC is 5-3 as well. Okemos 8-1. DeWitt 8-1. Waverly 6-2. Just overall, before we move on to the girls, the CAAC White looks pretty competitive. You figure Mason is going to be in control in the red. Looks like it's going to be a 2-team race between Langsburg and PW, and they play each other at Langsburg later in the season. But the power is in the CAAC blue. The depth is there. 5-6 good teams.
Yeah, tons of good teams in the CAAC blue. Okemos has been a nice surprise with what they've been able to do despite the talent that they lost. DeWitt has got off to an intriguing start, despite losing their all-time leading scorer and Bryce Courage. And you mentioned Waverly and East Lansing as well, too. And Grand Ledge has some talent as well, too. So, I mean, I just think, that race is going to be interesting to watch. And, Everton, an improved team this year as well, too. And, they started I think they're 3-3 right now, but they got off to a decent start as well too. And then even Holt, I mean, is a team that has some talent as well too, and can do some things as well too. So I think that league's pretty deep, and anyone is capable of knocking off anybody in that league.
On to the girls. We got a few minutes left here. Really looking forward to that matchup on Tuesday night. Portland at Lansing Catholic. Portland undefeated. They won pretty easily last night to get to 7-0. Lansing Catholic only 3-3 on the season, but 2-0 in the league. They crushed Eaton Rapids last night behind Gabby Hallowell, who's been their best player so far. Really looking forward to that matchup there. We'll find out where really both teams stand at this point.
Yeah, I think we're going to learn a lot more about Portland in this one. I think we are all figured that Lansing Catholic is going to be pretty good. And obviously they've played, one of the toughest schedules of any girls basketball team around the area so far with some of the matches that they've had. But it'll be interesting to see how Portland stacks up and if they are a true contender in the CAAC White, and obviously that's something we're going to find out on Tuesday when they meet at Lansing Catholic.
Other teams like, Fowler was victorious last night. They stay undefeated. They beat Lansing Christian in the league play. And also another team, Ovid Elsie. They stayed undefeated. They crushed Durand at home 57-19. Ava Bates leading the way with 16 points. So we are down to Portland undefeated, Bath undefeated at 5-0, and Ovid Elsie undefeated at 7-0.
Yeah, and Bath is an interesting team that's unbeaten right now, and we're going to find out a little bit more about them come Thursday as well, too, because I believe they host Dansville on Thursday. So I think we're going to find out, where they stack up and, what kind of team that they have this year. But obviously, they've been pretty dominant so far with the start that they've gotten off to.
Yeah, absolutely true with that. Let's see, CAAC Blue. DeWitt lost over the holiday break. They lost last Saturday, but they lost at Byron Center. Actually, their first loss of the season. Holt's 2-0 in league play, and East Lansing 1-0. Going to be a lot of conference games, really, for both boys and girls teams coming up in January and February. Very conference heavy schedules.
Yeah, definitely very, conference heavy. And, the Blues going to be interesting to watch on the girls' side as well, too. You mentioned on the boys' side. But, DeWitt, earned a share of the league title last year with Holden. They appear to be the favorite. But, East Lansing looks to be improved, under first-year coach Tori Brooks, who was actually a Holt last year.
Yep.
And so they look to be, bouncing back from what was an uncharacteristic season for them last year. And, Holt, is a team that, is off to a nice start as well, too. And could still be a factor despite losing Janae Tyler as well, too. So, yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting race to follow as well, too.
Pretty wide open in the CAAC Red. Williamston leading it right now with a 3-0 record, but Mason and Hazlitt are both 2-1 on the season. That looks competitive. We already talked about the CAAC White, and again, very competitive in the CMAC. Fowler 4-0 in the league. Bath, Dansville 3-0. St. Pat's and Langsburg 2-1 in the league play. So, the CAAC Red and CMAC look very competitive at the top.
No, they do. And I think the CAAC Reds are going to come down to Williamston and Hazlitt just based on the results so far. They obviously played a 2-point game that Williamston won when those two teams met. But, Hazlitt blew out Mason earlier this year when they met to kick off the league schedule as well. But, no, I think so. I just think see Williamston and Hazlitt, they seem to be the two top teams in the CAAC Red as of right now. But like you said, the CMAC, that just appears to be wide open just based on, what we've seen so far with, Fowler and Portland St. Patrick and Dansville and Bath, as you mentioned, and, Langsburg as well, too. You can even throw them in the mix there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, other teams to watch for. We talked about Ovid Elsie, but Leslie is 5-2 on the season, and Morris is 5-1, too. We already talked about what we're looking forward to, Portland at Lansing Catholic girls on Tuesday. I know I'm going to be there, and I'm sure you probably will, too. But we're looking forward to doing the Thursday game at East Lansing, Waverly at East Lansing boys. East Lansing, we know how good they are. Waverly off to a terrific start, too, with Derek Thomas II and Deontay Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Waverly is off to a terrific start, and they're also like East Lansing, have gone out and played some tough teams from the east side of the state as well too. Including Detroit Catholic Central. So yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good game of some two teams that have some very talented players.
Brian Calloway, Prep Sports Editor of the Lansing State Journal, LSJ.com. Thanks so much for coming on. Talk to you same time next week.
Hey, sounds good, Brock. Thanks for having me.
All right. Brian Calloway, prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal. Coming up today on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN, we've got the NFL football doubleheader coming up today at 4 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. That's the first game coming up today. First of two games in the NFL today. Yeah, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. That's 4 o'clock airtime here on WVFN. And then at 8 o'clock, it's the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. Those two teams fighting for a playoff berth as well. Both those teams hoping for a Jacksonville Jaguars loss tomorrow. And, of course, you can hear the Detroit Lions football, Lions and the Vikings from Ford Field here on WVFN and Classic Rock 94.9 MMQ. That's at 12 noon pregame, preceded by Nachos and Kneecaps, the live and the local show that Beanie Howell and myself have done all season long. So that's what we got coming up tomorrow. Really looking forward to the Lions, and we're not going to know who the Lions are going to play until tomorrow night, really. If they win, they got a chance at the number 2 seed. The worst case scenario, they're the number 3 seed, but we'll find out who and when they are playing next week. We know they're playing next week, and we know they're playing at Ford Field. But who they're going to play and when, wait and see on that. Coming up next week, we got High School Rewind again, 10 a.m. until 11 next week. But that's preceded on Thursday night by a big ball game. It is the Waverly Warriors at the East Lansing Trojans. Eric, Doc Love, and I will hit the air at 7 o'clock before that big ball game, the first of two games between Waverly and East Lansing this season, possibly a third. They could play in the state tournament. Want to thank our guest today, DeLeon Deering, the first-year head coach for the Sexton J-Dubs, and, of course, Brian Calloway, the prep sports editor of the Lansing State Journal. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'm Brock Palmbush. We'll talk to you next week. The Sports Life is next.
WWVFN, East Lansing, a town square media station. The game, 7:30 a.m. Lansing's only sports